Hello everyone, we are back. It has been a year since I did my top 100 favorite video games of all time, and it's crazy to think in just a year how outdated that list has already become. Honestly, I was expecting maybe 10 new games to jump onto the list, while the other 90 would just be games from last year's list shuffled around. And granted, there is a lot of positioning, shuffling around and stuff, but wow, we have I think 20 new games as opposed to 10. We're a lot closer to 20 than 10. It's crazy how in just 1 year I can come across 20 games that not only do I enjoy, but I enjoy to such an extent that I would call them one of the greatest of all time. So, wow, okay, where do we start? Well, a few things. This episode is going to be the eliminated ones from 2018. This one is going to be a long episode because actually this is probably going to be the longest episode because not only are there about as many games on this list as there are going to be in the next 4 episodes, just that many were eliminated. But this one I'm going to go into a lot more detail than the others because basically I want to explain why they're eliminated, because all these games are no longer on my top 100 list. But I don't want that to equal in people's minds that I no longer like these games. That's not the impression I want to give at all. Every game that is off the top 100 list are games that I still really enjoy, and a lot of them I go back to. There are some that are taken off this list or on 2017's list that got taken off in 2018 that not only do I no longer play, but I no longer enjoy. Some examples of this would be The Simpsons Tapped Out. I don't know what was going through my head, but that one I no longer even enjoy. And there are a few other games. There are a couple that I do get pretty angry about in this episode. So we're just going to leave that there. The next 4 episodes are going to be 100 to 75, 74 to 50, so on, in batches of 25. The ones that are already on the list, I'm going to quickly talk about why positions changed, or just quickly be like, yep, same place as last time. And I'm only really going to talk about the new games. Now, some ground rules, some housekeeping. These are not the 100 greatest games of all time. These are the ones that I like the best, the top 100 that are my favorites. So, you're going to see a lot of things. You're going to see specific genres being sort of spotlighted. My favorite genres are platformers, RPGs, party games, and racing games, and that sort of thing. Games that I'm not really a fan of are real-time strategy games and puzzle games and things like that, so they're not going to be on the list. Does that mean I think Tetris is not one of the greatest games of all time from a cultural standpoint? Of course I think it is. And if you put Puyo Puyo on your top 100, I can absolutely see why. Or Sega's Columns, probably 2 and 3 rather than the first one, but I could see why you would do that. These are honestly just my favorites. And last time I said this at the end, but this time I'm going to say it here. If you have a favorite game, 1 to 3, don't flood the comments with game suggestions, but if you do have ones that are on the list, post a comment. If I've already played it and it's not on the list, I will reply to the comment and say that that's the case. But if there are ones on there that I haven't played, I will go out of my way to play them, to experience them. There are some exceptions, like Fortnite or Roblox or things like that. Fast and Light is a game that a lot of people like. FTL, I'm probably not going to play that one. Again, not a fan of the genre. Just a lot of ones like that. A lot of mobile games you're not likely going to see me play. Rarely I will. Super Mario Run. Pokemon Go was on the list in 2017? No, 2018? 2017, I think. So, there are some, but I'm probably not going to play a lot of them. Apart from that, this is, I gotta keep saying it, this is just my opinion, and I put a lot more editing into this one than I did last year. Most of the ones last year were just a static picture, not even any music. This one, they're all got backing tracks. You can see the numbers, so you can see how I score these. And, alright, well, let's just get into it. Oh, one last thing. Between 2018 and 2019, I made a decent change to the way that I do the scoring, and this affected every game on the list. I added a new category for ranking. See, originally there were just 7 categories. It's like fun, replayability, music and sound, graphics, post-game, so on. You'll see all the categories on the screen for every game. I've actually added that this time. But I've actually added an 8th category. Now this category can't give points. The category is on a ranking system of 0 to -3 points, as opposed to anything else which would gain it points. This category is microtransactions. There are a few games on this list, and we'll get to those. One in particular really pissed me off that is still a top 100 game, but it made me so sad, and it came out this year, so some of you might already know what that is. In fact, if you've played it and know the whole controversy around it, you'll definitely know which game I'm referring to. It was definitely on my top 100 list and still is, but that game alone made me realize that I need this category. So, microtransactions. Basically, how this little thing goes is that if there are no microtransactions, 0 points. If there are microtransactions, but I never felt inclined to purchase them, and I still felt like I got the best experience without them, -1 point. If they were added in a devious way, or kept sort of, knocking on you to purchase them, or retooled mechanics to make it so that you really want to buy those microtransactions, -2 points. And if the game is an absolute broken, useless mess that you can't play without purchasing these little extra things, -3 points. And, oh yeah, no matter how shallow or how sort of useless DLC is for any game, I have not added DLC. I will buy DLC. I have bought DLC for a lot of the Black Ops games. I'm a big Zombies fan, and I have bought DLC Zombies maps. A couple of new games that are on the list, I have bought DLC for as well. And a few other games, I do buy a DLC for. I'm not, no matter what the content is, DLC is untouched on this list. I'm not accounting it. If I feel like the DLC wouldn't add anything for me, I just wouldn't buy it. If I feel like I really like the game and want that stuff, I will buy it. And I will take DLC into consideration in a game's ranking. But the problem with that is that DLC can sort of go away, can sort of be stopped purchasing. But when that happens, I'll just change the scores accordingly. So again, another reason why we'll do this, why I do these lists yearly, is because things change in the gaming industry constantly. And a lot of publishers do some pretty skeevy things. Like one in particular Activision game that I really enjoyed. I was honestly addicted to this game until they did that, and I just lost all drive. You'll know what game it is. So anyway, that's it. Long rant over. Let's get to the games. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. Okay, so before we get on to the top 100 of 2019, let's quickly go over the ones that were in the 2018 list that are now no longer on it, starting with the old number 100, Duck Life 3. Now, being at number 100, it was almost guaranteed to get knocked off, and honestly, I still really like the game. The fact that it's a free game that you can just pick up and play is still an amazing thing to me. Flash games, good ones, will always hold a special place in my heart. But we've just gotten so many new games with so much more packed into them that it's hard to justify it being in the top 100 still. But honestly, I love the game now just as much as I did last year. Some of the games in the knocked out list, my feelings towards them have changed, even if only slightly. But I feel like Duck Life 3 is one of the ones where my feelings have not changed. It's just a shame that so many new games have hit the list, basically. The old number 99, Mario Party 10. Ah, man. I knew that this had to go. It was low on the list, but I felt kind of dirty for having it there, because Mario Party 10, I don't know why originally I gave it a pass when Mario Party 9 was knocked off the list by 2018. Yeah, the minigames, I guess, were better than Mario Party 9's, and that was literally the only thing saving it, in my opinion. Every mode is just boring, short, plain, just... It has that new Super Mario Bros. Wii thing where it's just a puddle of mush. It's just generic, and it's not what Mario Party used to be. Say what you want about Mario Party 8, you cannot call it generic. Every board has individual movers like it should in Mario Parties, with a little gimmick to each one that doesn't distract from the core gameplay. You can say, but Mario Party 10 has some gimmicks as well for every map, but I don't know. Just adding Bowser to all the maps doesn't really count. Sorry, Mario Party 10, off the list. Number 98, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Now this is one where, again, my feelings towards this game haven't changed, but between 2018 and 2019, I added another category for how games are processed, and that category was taking off minus points for microtransactions. Now I should point out very clearly that I don't count DLC. Good DLC or bad DLC, I don't care, I don't count it. I only count microtransactions, which Call of Duty Black Ops 3 sadly had, and those minus points, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 was hanging on the list by a thread, and unfortunately that knocked it straight off. But honestly, just like Duck Life 3, my feelings for the game haven't really changed. Yeah, there are microtransactions, but Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is one of those games where I can actually very easily avoid the microtransactions while playing zombies, and I'm very happy to pay for the DLC zombie maps, so really no harm, no foul. It didn't lose a bunch of points. In fact, it only lost 1 out of a possible 3 it could lose, because the microtransactions aren't that egregious, so yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 just got knocked off by a bunch of stuff. The old number 97 was Duck Life 4. Duck Life 4, pretty much nothing I can say about Duck Life 4 that I didn't already say about Duck Life 3 just before. I still think that Duck Life 4 is my favorite of the original 4 as well as Space. And I haven't added Battle to this list yet, so I don't know where Battle would go. But it just got a Switch port, which means that I can add it as a Switch game, so who knows, maybe it'll hit the top 100. Is it better than Duck Life 4? That's the question, isn't it? Also, Duck Life 4 has the nostalgia thing going on as well. But yeah, Duck Life 4, for being a free game made by one person, is honestly, even though it's not in the top 100 anymore, I still absolutely recommend checking it out. It's free, it's fun, you can see the whole Let's Play on my channel, even though it was from 7 years ago when I sounded a little more high-pitched and high. So, keep that in mind, but yeah. Duck Life 4, still just as great. Ultimate NES Remix. Now, this kind of falls under the category of my feelings not really changing towards it, but more realizing that, holy shit, I have not had the desire to pick this game up in over 2 years. When I put it on the list in 2017, that was the last time I played it. Memories of, yeah, I had fun with this, are what kept it on the list for 2018. But after a whole nother year, and not picking it up or having any desire to, I realized that what I liked was setting all these records, but now that I've set sort of the best I can do in everything, I don't really have the drive to try and redo stages over and over and over again. I don't know, it's just not... I have no drive to pick up this game again. I guess I realized that the replayability is not as high as I thought, at least to me. And just the fact that I've had no desire to replay it at all and just glossed over it for other games, not just this year, but previous year, kind of goes to show that it was kind of a flash in the pan, real fun for the time, but then you put it aside and forget about it, so yeah, that's off the list. Number 95, I know this is going to annoy some people, Mario Kart Double Dash. So, if this game is on your top 100 list, I absolutely can see where you're coming from. It is an amazing game. This, like the two Duck Life games, was simply taken off the list because games that I enjoyed personally better came along. Games that, you know, I just hadn't played until now, and a lot from a certain series, you know, new games came out, old games came out, and yeah, just Mario Kart Double Dash is not something I grew up with. Honestly, I went from Mario Kart 64 to Mario Kart Wii. Double Dash was just not something I played, and I can see how good it is. I can absolutely see it's a great game, and that's why it was on my top 100 list, but honestly, I have not played it enough and gotten the nostalgia for it that I do the other Mario Kart games, I suppose, and I do think that Mario Kart 8, even though you can't team up, is better. And again, I'm someone that plays games on my own, so the fact that two players can be on a kart does nothing for me, honestly. Yeah, it's really not something that added anything for me. I can see why it'd add for other people, if you're playing with others. It's a great thing, just not my sort of thing. And number 94, the old number 94, was Pokemon Quest. What the hell was I thinking, putting this above Mario Kart Double Dash, Duck Life 4, and Call of Duty Black Ops 3? Going back and thinking about it now, even Duck Life 4, all four of those games deserve to be higher up than Pokemon Quest. At the time, I guess I was just flabbergasted by that style of game not having microtransactions, but then I realized, why am I playing that style of game? It's a Pokemon game with waiting mechanics. Well, is there not enough Pokemon without those waiting mechanics on the list? Like, I don't understand. I guess I got lost in the fact that I realized I'd played 30 hours of this game and was always coming back to it, but that's the insidious nature of these games. You're always coming back to it for little bits, and then before you know it, you hit 30 hours in it. And yes, I guess you could say that's a good thing, and that is why it was on the top 100, but really, it's just wait half an hour, go into a game, smash some buttons, hope you win. At least that's how the later stages always seem to go for me. Upgrade stuff that's really meaningless until you get, you know, the perfect Pokemon. And then repeat after another half an hour wait. Honestly, what was it doing so high up? What was it even doing on the top 100 list last year? No idea, really. Pokemon Quest. One of the ones that definitely my feelings have lowered. The old number 93, Super Mario Maker. This is another one that my opinions of it have lowered. And while I'm here, yes, I do own Mario Maker 2. Actually, I'm just going to make sure we're still recording. Good. Yes, I do own Super Mario Maker 2. Yes, I have played Super Mario Maker 2. And yes, I've put a lot of time into courses that get no plays, really no likes. And the only comment I got was, what the fuck, in Spanish, so... And playing these two games kind of made me realize that, honestly, this game is really only good if you're a big popular YouTuber, a big popular Twitter person, or a Twitch streamer. For the common man who just wants to make random levels and doesn't have the immense technical know-how, because you can make something with a lot of mechanics and fudging about, but I couldn't really do that. So my game, anything I made was just lost, and I realized playing Mario Maker 2, all the courses were either just, you know, too difficult, stand still games, just a lot of just, there wasn't any fun, just random Mario Maker levels, and I thought, okay, Mario Maker 2's got a story. Yeah, that didn't really help either. The story levels got way too hard, way too quickly, and I don't usually say that about Mario levels. In fact, I don't think there's any Mario game that I would really say that about. Later games of Mario World, later levels of Mario World, maybe? I don't know, but honestly, the mechanics felt a bit wonky. And Mario Maker 2 fixed so much that was wrong with Mario Maker 1, which is even more wonky. Didn't have a solo player mode at all, and it's just a game that's going to disappear as soon as the Wii U service shut down. So again, I don't know why this is on the top 100. Doesn't really make sense. It's gone. Next one. The old number 92, Paper Mario Color Splash. This one, my opinions have not changed on. I love it just as much as I did. This is just one of those ones where better games came along, not much to say. The thing is that I've never really completed this game. I got up to a section that I just kept dying to over and over and getting sent ages back. I don't remember, it was really late in the game, it was some sort of castle or something. And it frustrated me to no end, but all the game before was really good, and I think if I come back to this, I do plan to try Paper Mario Color Splash again. I was getting used to the card system. The card system is not the only reason I don't like Sticker Star, but it is a big problem with it, but I think Paper Mario Color Splash could crawl its way back into the top 100. This is something I said about Wii Party in 2018, and if you're wondering about that, it's actually gone up some ranks. While everything else in the bottom 100 is going down even more, Wii Party's actually started going up. I think it's at like 100. Actually, I can check. Wii Party's at 105. It's gone up so many. Considering how many games have been eliminated, it's beating eliminated games. It's beating Mario Party 10. It's beating NES Remix. It's beating Super Mario Maker. Like all these games, it's claiming that were in the top 100. So Wii Party's getting there, and I think Paper Mario Color Splash is going to be the game that I say for this year has a chance to come back. Wii Party and Paper Mario Color Splash. Those are the two that are down, but not out. That's my thoughts on that. And on the 2020 list, there'll probably be a third game that joins those ranks. Whether Wii Party actually crawls its way back up by then or not, remains to be seen, but I'll look forward to that. Number 91, The Walking Dead Season 3. Well, we all know what happened with Telltale, and it's a big sad thing. And really, it should be more sad, but honestly, I never even started Season 4. After Season 3, that was kind of just it for me. And I don't know if it kind of burned me out, or if my feelings for the series weren't as strong as I thought they were. I love Season 1 to death, and maybe that was kind of blurring my visions for the rest of the series, how they were kind of going downhill a little bit. I was, you know what, it's alright, it's just new characters, just give it a bit of give it a pass. My apologies, had to pause there. But yeah, honestly, the replayability of these games for me is really just in the tank. I have no drive or feel any need to come back to them. Maybe Season 1 after a couple years of it being out of my head, a couple more years of it being out of my head. I haven't played it for a couple years, but I don't know. Would I go back to them? Yeah, maybe. But don't expect to see Walking Dead Season 3 crawling back to the top 100. I don't think it's going to happen. The old number 90, Mario Party 8. Another game that my feelings have not changed towards. I'm kind of sad that Mario Party 8 is off the top 100, actually. It is really good, and honestly, I'm one of the few people I feel that defend it. And I feel like it's a game that needs to be defended. It gets an unfair rap for being post Nintendo 64 and GameCube era, but I don't think it deserves it. The Wii U games deserve it. The 3DS ones, you could say, deserve it. The DS one was good, though. Oh shit, that's another one I gotta replay to put on the list. Okay, distractions aside, Mario Party 8 is good. Mario Party 8 is a lot of fun. It's just that I guess when I'm always alone and not playing anything with friends, a Mario Party game has to have some sort of nostalgia value for me to really play and really enjoy the minigames. And Mario Party 8 kind of falls in the minigame line. The boards make up for it for being some of the most creative in the entire series, but yeah, some of the minigames are a bit meh. And that's not to say they're all bad. A lot of them are really good. But yeah, just I don't know, it barely dropped down off the top 100. I still think it's a game that deserves to be praised and gets a lot of unnecessary hate. Sorry, Mario Party 8. My feelings, if nothing, have sort of grown instead of gone backwards with, but it just wasn't enough to keep it on the list. The old number 89. Again, if this is on your top 100, I absolutely understand it. Super Mario Sunshine. The graphics are beautiful, music is iconic, Yoshi in a 3D Mario game, you know, Mario 64 didn't let you have that, and yeah, there's a lot to it. It's just not my kind of game. I guess the mechanics, and I guess for me the difficulty, a lot of people don't have the difficulty problem, but I do. And again, it's weird when I talk difficulty in Mario games, because people are just going to say, you know, get good, but again, I'm someone that 120 stars Super Mario 64, you know, twice a year, constantly getting 242 stars in Super Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2. The problem's not with the 3D Mario platform, I think. I don't know what it is about the mechanics of it. But the precise shooting of FLUDD and stuff like that is really difficult. And I guess that's just me not being good at first-person shooters or whatever. Honestly, what the hell am I even saying that in relation to Super Mario Galaxy? I know. But I honestly feel like that's a part of why I'm not too... It's just not a game that I'm good at. It's not a game for me. All the new FLUDD moves and things, I just can't really get into it. I guess that's just a me problem. And I can absolutely see why someone would have this in the top 100. Honestly, in 2018, it probably would have been lower for me. It should have been lower for me, but I don't know, I guess just going with the public opinion, and a lot of what was on the top 100 absolutely had to do with the audio and the visual, which is still amazing, and, you know, it was top 100 worthy, but I can't give it top 100 on audio and visual alone. This is a video game, not a movie, not a cartoon, so I can't, you know, do that. So, Super Mario Sunshine down the list. The old number 88, Croc. Croc's an interesting one. I'm not sure how it got so high up on the list. In 2017, it was actually a lot higher than 88, and I haven't really played much of it. I've gotten about halfway through it, ever, and I replayed the first half again at some point, but it's not a game that I ever really finished, and it's kind of clunky. My PS1 doesn't have the analog stick. I don't even know if Croc uses an analog stick, but I've been playing it with the D-pad, and growing up with the Nintendo 64, not having the analog stick is just, for a platformer, I can't do it. I can't get my head around it. It's not like the Wii, where it's a 2D platformer game that uses the D-pad, but even then, Mario Galaxy has the nunchuck, so what am I even saying? It's not even comparable. It's a 3D platformer with no analog stick. I can't get my head around that. And yes, you could just say, buy a PS1 controller with an analog stick. And you know what? Honestly, at one of these days, I absolutely will, and I will give Croc another shot. But as it stands, I just cannot get around the controls of it. And it's a little bland. It didn't really do anything for me. It didn't really stick out for me. So, yeah, I don't know why Croc was here, honestly. Down it goes. Number 87. Wow, I fear the backlash for this one. Cuphead. So, to understand why this is not in the top 100, you must first understand why I play video games. I've always had a stressful life, and video games were the thing that I would use to de-stress, which is why I very rarely ever play hard games. Especially now, with work being so demanding. I don't want to come home and be further pissed off. And I get pissed off at games a lot, I'll admit. And this is why I'll never play anything like Dark Souls or Bloodborne or Sekiro or anything from Software, fucking hell. And Cuphead was one of those games that is marketed pretty much on its difficulty, and it is very difficult. And somehow I got to the final boss, with the dice guy just before the devil. But I've never beaten that. And I could just admit defeat and go with the easy mode. But, nah. That's not the kind of game you do that to. So, as it stands, the reason Cuphead's not on my list is just because of why I play games. I play games to try and relax and de-stress, but also sort of feel good about myself. Putting Cuphead on easy mode does not make me feel good, it makes me feel like I cheated it. So, yeah, the animations are incredible, the music and the graphics, it's all incredible. It's kind of got the Super Mario Sunshine thing where I'm basing it all on the audio and visual. It does have a lot of smooth gameplay though, but just not for me. If it's your top 100, by all means, it deserves it. It honestly does deserve it. Just not my type of game. The old 86 Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. Honestly, I think I gave it more... I don't know if I really gave it more credit. Honestly, it was very short. It was a 6-hour game. And it's its own standalone game, and I don't play the multiplayer. So the 6 hours of the story mode are all I got for my money. And I bought it in a 2 for $70 deal with the Kingdom Hearts 1 and a 1.5 and 2.5 collection. And let me tell you, I know where the money's worth went out of those two games. 6 hours, 150 hours. Yeah. I know it's not all based on hours. You could stare at a brick wall for 200 hours and that doesn't make it better. And honestly, I really did like the campaign. But I guess first-person shooters just aren't for me, and while I really did enjoy it, it didn't pop out as much for me to keep it on the list. It's still a very good game. Honestly, really is. Just not top 100 worthy for me anymore. Number 85 survived, but the old number 84, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. This one, it's such a generic game. Mario Brothers is not meant to be generic. Super Mario Bros. Was amazing. Super Mario Bros. 2 flipped the script so hard that people were pissed off about it. Kind of like with Zelda and Zelda 2. Super Mario Bros. 3 was revolutionary. Everything changed just brilliantly. Super Mario World, Mario 64, Sunshine. Even though I don't like Sunshine, I can see how different it is. What I'm trying to say is that you can't just make bland, carbon copy cutter. Everybody say it with me. Forest, desert, ice, poison, rocky mountain, sky, Bowser level. You can't keep doing that over and over and over. And this was the first game that started doing that repeating. It took everything from the DS version and redid it. And at the time that was okay because, the DS version and the Wii version were kind of brother and sister games, You expected someone to have one console or the other, so they would pick up whatever version they had, but then they did it with the Wii version, and then they did it with the other Wii U version, and then they did it with the remake of the Wii U version. Like, come the fuck on, do something different with Mario. You can do amazing things with 2D Mario. We've seen it done on the NES, on the Super NES. We've seen it. We've seen how amazingly different the 3D games can be with 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, and Odyssey. Look at Odyssey. Compare how new and fresh Odyssey was to how bland and stale New Super Mario Bros. Wii was. And I know it's two different console generations, but come on. I can give you the NES and Super NES as examples, and that was way before, so you can't give me that, well, it was, 10 years ago excuse, because Super Mario World was like 20 years ago. It's just so generic and bland, and I can't give generic blandness as solid of an actual game it is. I just can't reward such laziness, and that's kind of why it's why it's knocked out. I rant, but still a solid game. If you pick it up, you won't be disappointed. It's just nothing special. It doesn't pop out. Even worse than, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. At least that had a good story. This has nothing. So, number 83. Battletoads Arcade. And my feelings with this game have not changed either. I think this was the last game to get knocked out of the 2019 ratings from 2018. This was the one that hung on until about 2 months ago, because I'm recording this a month in advance. 2 months ago. And it is a shame. I really do like Battletoads Arcade. It's just way too short for being on the top 100. And I know that's hypocritical with some other things that are on the list, but yeah, it's a short and sweet beat 'em up, but after a while, a few times playing it, you got everything out of it, You come back to it every now and then, but yeah. I'm trying to justify it being knocked off the list, but really, This was knocked off the list for the same reason most of these other things were knocked off the list. At least the ones that I still don't complain about. And that reason is better games came along. Other games... Well, 85 survived, so you know that 85 went above Battletoads Arcade, which honestly knocked it down because I wanted that one to stay on the list. So, yeah, it's a whole thing. And finally, the last game that was knocked out, we're going all the way up to the 64th entry on the list. The last game that was knocked out, and I'm scared. I don't even know if I should reveal it, but the game that was knocked off the list for me was The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. And honestly, I want to say this is another game that could see its way back up on the list. It could. It absolutely could. Not at 64. Maybe in the 90s. But, honestly, I know this is some people's absolutely favorite game, Majora's Mask. I think I need to play Ocarina of Time. I haven't played that yet, and I know that I think I like that better, because look, the thing I don't like about Majora's Mask is I don't like time mechanics. I don't like feeling rushed, I don't like being timed, and Majora's Mask's entire gameplay is based around these 3 days, and the fact that you have to do everything in the 3 days, and then you have to go back to day one and everything's back the way it was. I also don't like the feeling of losing progress, and every time you're going back to day one after you've done all this stuff over those 3 days, to me feels like lost progress. All the stuff you're doing is gone. And that's just the way the game is structured. The music is very appealing and atmospheric. The world is very grandiose and again very atmospheric, and the story is brilliant too. It's just the core mechanic of the gameplay, how the game is built around the idea of time. That is the reason why it is not on the list. And if you like that mechanic, absolutely it should be on the list. Absolutely recommend it. Even if it's not on my top 100, I recommend it if you're into that sort of thing. It just was not for me. And I feel like as soon as I play Ocarina of Time, that one is going to be on next year's top 100, I think, because it's not as based around this whole clock mechanic. I would put that down as the safest bet for our 2020s list, is Ocarina of Time being somewhere on the list. Well, that's all the games that were knocked out, and I honestly didn't expect this to be half an hour. I honestly thought it was going to be like 10 minutes, so I guess I had more to say about this stuff than I thought. But anyway, I'm going to keep the games that were already on the list short and sweet, and only try to talk about the new games. So, tune in next time where we do 100 to 75, see what's new on the list, see what's been moved around and everything. Very exciting stuff. Thank you for watching, I hope you follow through. Be sure to subscribe so you can see when it comes out, and that's about it. Take care, guys, and I hope to see you over there. Goodbye.